Welcome back, everybody. It is time now for another episode of Catholic Cocktails. This is the weekly video series produced by Salt and Light Catholic Radio in Boise, Idaho. And it's where we get together and we share a toast, raise a glass to some of our famous saints in the Catholic faith based on this book here, Drinking with the Saints by Michael P. Foley.
So each week we introduce to you a saint of the week, as well as a drink that goes along with them. We lay everything out for you so you can get ready. Then we send it over to Teresa Zapeta, who will tell you all about the feast day. She'll send it back to us. Our bartender will make the drink for you, and then we get to try it and talk about what we learned.
Absolutely. But today you get not one, not two, but 40 saints.
40, that's true.
That's going to be a lot of toasts.
All right, everyone sit down. This is a 40-part series. We'll do each one. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally joking.
So we'll be learning about the 40 Holy Martyrs, and the drink that we're going to be trying today is the
Brandy Toddy.
Brandy Toddy. And you're going to learn why when Teresa shares the horrific story of the 40 Holy Martyrs.
It's pretty rough.
You're going to want something warm to kind of, take the chill off a little bit. So, what are we going to need to make this? This is going to be a little different because it's a hot drink, right?
Yeah. So it's your Irish coffee mug or a coffee mug. It doesn't particularly matter. And then you need a spoon for stirring everything up. And I think, and you need a teaspoon as well.
Teaspoon.
Just for measuring out your ingredients.
All right. Well, we know what we're going to make and some of the stuff we need anyway to make it. We're going to jet back here and our bartender will walk us through the process. But right now we need to learn more about the 40 Holy Martyrs. So here is Teresa Zapeta.
On March 10th, we lift a glass to honor the 40 martyrs of Sebaste. The 40 martyrs were Roman soldiers who were put to death in Sebaste, which is now present-day Armenia. The account of these martyrs is well documented historically. Around the year 320, the emperor of the Eastern Roman Empire, Licinius, issued a decree ordering every Christian to renounce their faith or face death. When this decree was announced to the Roman army, 40 soldiers of different nationalities, all of them part of the famous Thundering Legion, refused to comply with the edict. As a result, the emperor condemned them to death in a particularly icy way. He said they were to be stripped of their clothing, put on a frozen lake, and left there to face the elements of the cold and the howling wind. Upon hearing this, the 40 men immediately began to unrobe themselves, not even waiting. They embraced their martyrdom. On the banks of this lake, Sebaste, they built a fire and erected a bath. And they were told that any soldier who renounced his faith would be promoted and would be able to take advantage of the warmth of the fire and the bath. The men faced the cold bravely. However, one of them couldn't take it. He left their company and entered the warmth of the bath. However, it was such a shock to his system that he immediately died. There was a soldier there who witnessed this and was inspired by the constancy of the 39 remaining soldiers. While off duty, he fell asleep and had a dream that the men on the lake were suddenly in the company of an angel who brought each of them a crown. He counted only 39 crowns. Upon awaking, he immediately stripped of his garments and joined the men. After 3 days, those men who had not succumbed to the elements were martyred, were killed. all of the men's, the 40 men now, bodies were burnt and their charred remains were thrown into a river. The faithful Christians recovered as much of the charred remains as they could. Part of the group of Christians who did this was the family of Saint Basil the Great. Saint Basil the Great and 3 of his siblings were to be canonized saints. This was inspiring and influenced many of those early Christians to hold fast to the faith, knowing that these 40 men would brave the cold rather than renounce their Christian faith.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Once again, everybody, we are here at the Harp Irish Pub and Grill here in Meridian, Idaho. And once again, we have Josie behind the bar joining us again today. So, what do you have for us today, Josie?
We are making the brandy toddy.
Gorgeous. All right, so what immense amount of ingredients goes into this?
We got some sugar,
All right,
a lemon,
all right.
our handy dandy bourbon,
We love some 1792.
some nutmeg, and then we'll use some hot water as well.
Gorgeous. So it's a hot drink this time. All right. Little new adventure for us here on Catholic Cocktails. All right. Well, I'll step away and let Josie make the brandy toddy.
All right, now we're making the brandy toddy. We're gonna start with the sugar. Then we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of the lemon juice. Then we're gonna do 2 ounces of our brandy. Then we'll grab our hot water. Yeah. I'm just gonna mix it to get our sugar. Then we'll add a lemon and then a little bit of nutmeg. Ta-da!
Okay, well, we're back for the moment of truth. This looks like something I would have drank during Christmas vacation.
It is a little Christmassy,
So
or
this
like
is interesting to be doing this in March.
When you have a cold,
Yes.
you know, when you're not feeling.
When I drink that for medicinal purposes, there's
know what I'm
usually
gonna
some
do?
honey in it.
I'm gonna steal a straw
Oh,
because
you can't get
germs.
past the garnish
Well,
because
I don't-
germs.
I don't know. I just
How long
feel
have we
like-
been working together? I'm going to take that personally. Is it too much sugar?
No, it's a lot of.
A lot of brandy?
Hit the back of my throat there.
Oh, interesting. Well, there you go.
And the nutmeg in there was a little.
But is it going to warm you up though?
Yes.
Because as the 40 were freezing to death out there on the frozen lake,
Yeah.
they would have loved to have something like this. Forget the bath, just get me the brandy toddy.
Exactly. They're just out there like, Lisa,
Yeah.
have a brandy
May I have
toddy."
another? Oh, I guess I get to drink
I
it
was gonna
too.
say, did you want some? Do you want a straw? Or...
No.
Oh, okay. Don't poke yourself there.
Yeah, that's
See?
stout.
Yeah, it gets you,
Takes my
man.
breath away.
Really good.
That's about how I'd make it at home. Only I would add honey for medicinal purposes.
Honestly, I feel like the honey would probably cut some of that. in-
versus the sugar cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
So
we
maybe make
recommend
it at home
honey.
that way.
That's my recommendation.
But that's the hot toddy that I
Sorry.
make at home. It clearly, the bourbon sort of, or the brandy would do your sinuses,
Yep.
undo your sinuses a little bit.
Yep, yep.
Of course, your honey coats your throat, and the lemon, whatever
Overall,
lemon does.
great for when you're cold in any way.
Yes, I'm warmer already.
Yes,
So-
indeed. All right, so
Let's talk about these Roman soldiers who said, "We're not going to do what you're telling us to do there, Mr. Emperor. So
Mr. Emperor, sir.
forget your edict.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's more and more stories that I'm learning about of like Roman soldiers specifically who also embraced the faith, and I didn't realize that. Like I thought it was mostly just the Romans were like killing all the Christians. I didn't realize that it kind of latched onto them as well. So that was cool. I thought it was just another breathtaking example of just the courage and the constancy in faith. I mean, we have so many stories of it being like almost no problem for them. They're just like, okay, I guess I'll die now because you're not worth it to me, I guess.
I think sometimes we kind of get a little spoiled being American Catholics, that everything's got to be all nice and warm and cozy, and we don't think about the people that died for the faith in those early days.
Yeah, for sure.
For the first, 3 or 4 centuries, the Catholics were persecuted. But it was, I think it was, and like you'd said, these soldiers were some of them that first came into the fold, and you wonder if it's because they're out there in the streets, they're seeing the miracles, they're hearing the stories, and they're just seeing the joy on people's faces. And I think that's the thing, is you don't have to go out on a street corner with a Bible or a catechism in your hand, beating people over the head with it. If we just live a genuine Christian life and let Christ's love reflect off of us, then people will take notice, like the Roman soldiers did.
Right. I've talked about this with friends, about how when you know someone who truly has Christ in their life, they radiate joy. Have you ever been around a lot of religious people? I mean, those of a religious order, they radiate like light.
Right.
Almost. I mean, they're just so happy. They're totally content. I'm sure they still have their own struggles with whatever it is, but you just want to be around them. Like, you can't help but want to be around them. So I think for these Roman soldiers, to see, be on the streets and to see these people filled with joy and light when they had nothing. I mean, the Romans had everything. They had the money, they had the glory, they had the power, they had the nice homes and the nice clothes. And then these Christians were dirt poor, being constantly abused, and yet they were still happier than the Romans.
Right.
And so they were like,
I'll have what he's having, please, waiter.
I'll have 2 of those.
Wrap them up so I can take them home.
But I can only imagine what the party was like when all these guys got into heaven. I mean, they're just like, yeah. Everyone's like, yeah.
I'm sure it was warmer.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. That's so rough.
Dying a slow death on a frozen lake, naked.
Yeah. Wasn't that one soldier that just, because one left,
right,
and then got immediately replaced. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Good for him.
Yeah. That's
Good for him. Kind of one of those Rudy moments where they're going into heaven carrying that guy on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Yay, this guy.
This guy. Kept our number.
Got to keep it an even 40.
Yep.
So that's the 40 Holy Martyrs, and we hope that you enjoyed this drink. Maybe you've got different variations. If you do, leave it in the comments down below. Like I shared, I usually make mine instead of with sugar. I make mine with honey. So honey, lemon, bourbon, and hot water.
Bourbon.
I've never tried the spice. I thought the nutmeg was kind of a nice touch to it. I've never done that at home.
Cinnamon and nutmeg if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like that really Christmassy flavor.
Right. So
anyway.
maybe you have a variation. We'd invite you to leave your recipe in the comments below.
Yeah.
Also, give us a thumbs up if you like this episode.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Notifications.
Right.
All that jazz.
And tell a friend.
Yes. Word of mouth. Works.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. You should do it. Next week, we are going to be learning about St. Patrick.
I know, it's going to be the granddaddy of them all. I mean, we're going to be talking about St. Patrick in an Irish pub.
So that's pretty great.
We're going to have a runaway, I'm afraid. It's going to be the Super Bowl of Catholic cocktails.
Special episode.
So don't
Anyway,
miss that,
don't
as
miss
we
that,
will
yeah.
all be adorned in green and toasting St. Patrick in an Irish pub. You don't want to miss that episode. So until then, the 40 Holy Martyrs pray for us. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.